There is a sound you have heard before, a dull, hollow thud, less than a second, then silence. Maybe you went to the window and found nothing. Maybe you found a small bird on the ground below the glass, perfectly still, eyes open, not moving, and you stood there not knowing what happened or what to do. That sound happens in American yards every single day, and almost everyone who hears it has no idea what they are actually witnessing. What happens when a bird hits your window is not an accident. It is the result of something specific, something happening at that glass right now, in your yard, that is completely invisible to you, but absolutely deadly to every bird that approaches it. Welcome back to Backyard Bird Mind. Subscribe before you leave, because what you are about to learn will change the way you see every window in your house. Today we are covering exactly what a bird sees when it looks at your glass, why your feeder placement may be making this worse, and what you can do starting today to stop it from happening again. Stay until the end, because the last thing we cover is responsible for more bird deaths each year than most people can imagine. Number 1, what the bird actually sees. You look at a window and see glass, something transparent, something you look through. A bird does not see that at all. Birds cannot perceive glass as a barrier. What they see instead is the reflection, and that reflection looks exactly like open space, sky, trees, a clear passage to the other side. When your window reflects the oak tree in your yard or the blue sky above your roofline, a bird approaching from 40 feet away does not see a window. It sees a continuation of the habitat, a place to fly into.
Researchers at the American Bird Conservancy have documented this extensively. The bird is not flying toward the glass, it is flying toward the world it sees inside the glass. It commits to that path at full speed. This is not stupidity. It is an animal responding accurately to every visual signal it has ever evolved to trust, and encountering something that did not exist in its world until we built it. Glass is one of the youngest materials in the human environment. Birds have had no time to learn what it means. The reflective surface problem is worst on bright days, when your window acts like a perfect mirror. Worst when vegetation behind you gets reflected. Worst when there is habitat on both sides of your home, so the bird believes it sees a clear passage straight through. Go outside on a clear morning and look at your windows from 30 feet away. You will see your garden reflected perfectly. You will see sky. You will see exactly what a bird sees, and you will understand immediately why that sound happens. Number 2, the feeder placement mistake that is making this worse. Almost everyone makes this mistake. It is built into the way feeders are sold and the advice that circulates online, and it costs birds their lives. The mistake is placing your feeder between 10 and 30 feet from your window. That distance sounds safe, but that specific range is what ornithologists call the danger zone, the distance where a bird startled from the feeder builds fatal speed before hitting the glass. Cornell Lab of Ornithology is unambiguous about this. Feeders belong either within 3 feet of a window or beyond 30 feet. Those are the 2 safe zones. Everything in between is not a compromise, it is a trap. 3 feet feels wrong.
It feels like you are placing the bird in danger. But at that distance, a flushing bird cannot build enough speed to cause serious injury. It bounces. It survives. At 15 feet, it hits your window at full flight speed with nowhere to turn. Look at where your feeder sits right now. Measure the actual distance. If it is in that middle range, and statistically it probably is, moving it is the single most impactful change you can make in your yard. It does not require new equipment. It requires moving a pole. You can do it tonight. Number 3, when your window becomes most dangerous. Not all hours carry the same risk. There are specific times when your glass becomes exponentially more lethal. The most dangerous time is the first 2 hours after sunrise. The sun hits your east-facing windows at a direct angle and turns them into near-perfect mirrors. At the same time, birds are at their most active, hungry, moving fast, flying assertively. Peak bird activity plus peak window reflectivity is what researchers call a collision corridor. The second dangerous window is the last 90 minutes before dark. The sun moves west. West-facing windows become mirrors. Birds are making their final foraging runs with urgency. In breeding season, the risk increases further. A male cardinal defending territory in April is not flying cautiously. He is flying at full speed, responding to hormonal urgency that overrides everything else. He does not process the glass until it is too late. In fall, migrants compound the danger.
Your year-round residents have learned your yard's layout over months. A warbler passing through on its first southward migration has never seen your house before. It only has what it can see, and what it sees may be your window, reflecting the sky.
Watch your most reflective windows at 7 in the morning. That is where the strikes are coming from. Number 4, which birds are dying? The American Bird Conservancy estimates between 600 million and 1 billion birds die in window strikes across the United States every year. Let me make that number real. The birds dying in the greatest numbers are migratory songbirds, the wood thrush, the hermit thrush, the white-throated sparrow, the warblers that travel thousands of miles and make it as far as your neighborhood before the glass ends the journey. But the year-round residents die too. The dark-eyed junco at your winter feeder, the northern cardinal, the one you have named, the one whose color still stops you even after years of watching it, the black-capped chickadee that lands 3 feet from your face without fear. Researchers at the University of Exeter confirmed what many backyard birders already feel intuitively. The birds that visit consistently are individuals, not interchangeable representatives of a species. When that cardinal dies at your window, it is not just a cardinal. It is that cardinal, the one that has been coming for 3 years, the one that arrives first every morning. A woman in Georgia told me she had a male cardinal come to her feeder every day for 4 years. She knew exactly which branch he used, how long he sat before approaching. One October morning she heard the thud. She found him below the dining room window. She said the yard felt different after, quieter in a way that had nothing to do with sound. That is what individual loss does. Number 5. What a stunned bird actually needs, and what almost everyone gets wrong. A bird hits your window, you go outside.
It is sitting on the ground, eyes open, breathing, not flying. What do? Most people do the wrong thing. Pick it up, hold it, bring it inside. It feels like care. It can be fatal. Here is what is happening inside that bird. The impact caused a concussion. Its vestibular system is disrupted. It is an acute physiological stress. And stress for a bird is not a metaphor. Elevated cortisol during handling can cause cardiac arrest. The act of picking it up, however gently, can kill it faster than the original injury. What it needs is dark, quiet, containment, and time. Get a small cardboard box. Place the bird inside using a cloth, not bare hands. Close the box. Put it somewhere quiet, away from pets, away from sun. Do not open it to check. Do not offer food or water. Set a timer for 30 minutes. At 30 minutes, take the box outside and open the lid. The bird will either fly immediately, fully recovered, or it will need a wildlife rehabilitator. 90% of stunned birds recover with this protocol. The holding and the warmth feel like love, but they interrupt the one thing that actually saves the bird. And do not leave it on the ground while you watch from the window. A cat will reach it before you notice. Number 6, the sound that tells you a strike happened when you were not watching. Not every window strike sounds like a loud thud. There is a softer version, a muted knock, easy to dismiss as a branch or the house settling. But there is often a bird sitting stunned below your window right now, and you do not know it. Here is the secondary signal. After a strike, listen to the other birds in your yard. A window strike triggers what researchers call a predator alarm cascade.
Other birds register the impact and respond as though a predator has attacked. You will hear sharp alarm calls, the chickadees ascending chickadee-dee-dee with extra syllables, which ornithologists at the University of Washington have shown correlates directly with perceived threat level. Movement stops, birds scatter or freeze. A cascade of alarm calls following a soft knock at your window is your yard telling you what happened. The bird may be sitting 5 feet from your foundation in the shrubs. Learn to hear this signal. It is your earliest warning system, and the faster you respond, the better the outcome. Number 7, nightlights and the birds you never see dying. Twice a year, billions of birds cross the North American continent at night. Warblers, thrushes, sparrows, tanagers, rising after sunset, navigating by starlight and the Earth's magnetic field. On peak migration nights in April and October, Weather Service radar picks up the biological mass of moving birds as what looks like rain sweeping steadily across the continent. These birds have done this for millions of years, and then they reach your neighborhood, your lit windows. Urban light disorients them. It interrupts the celestial navigation system their ancestors used for millennia. Disoriented birds begin circling lit structures, unable to resolve artificial light from starlight. They circle until exhausted, then they collide. Think about what that means. A yellow warbler that crossed the Gulf of Mexico 3 nights ago, that navigated hundreds of miles of darkness on fat reserves it spent weeks building, that made it across open water, across the Gulf Coast, across the interior, and it gets pulled into the light of your block and dies against glass it could not see.
Birdcast, Cornell Lab's free migration forecast, estimates light pollution causes hundreds of millions of additional bird deaths during migration each year, beyond daytime strikes. Cities that adopted lights out programs saw immediate, dramatic reductions. You can do this. Turn off interior lights visible from outside between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. on migration nights. Birdcast tells you exactly when the heavy flights are coming, for free, for your region. Just those nights, just those hours. This is the single largest thing you can do for birds that will never visit your feeder, but that are moving through your world right now, above your house, tonight. Number 8, what you can do today. 3 things, specific, immediate, and confirmed by the research. 1, markers on your most reflective windows at the right density. Markers need to be spaced no more than 2 inches apart horizontally and 4 inches vertically across the full surface. Wider gaps and birds fly through them. A single hawk silhouette does not work. It signals predator, not solid surface. Window alert or feather guard tape at correct density works. Tempera paint on the outside of the glass works. These reduce strikes by 50 to 90% when applied correctly. 2, move your feeder this week. Measure the distance, under 3 feet or over 30. Use a tape measure. The distance matters more than almost any other variable. Info and turn your lights off on peak migration nights. It costs you nothing. Start with the feeder. It takes 5 minutes. Do it tonight, and the next bird that flushes from your feeder tomorrow morning will have a better chance than it had this morning. That is not a complicated gift, but it is a real one. The birds that visit your yard chose to be there. Against every other yard in your neighborhood, they came to yours. That is not a small thing. And what you do with that, how you tend the place they decided to trust, matters. Now you know about the glass, the feeder distance, the stunned bird in the box, the lights burning on migration nights. That knowledge changes what happens next in your yard, not in some abstract way, in the most practical, specific, immediate way possible. Tell me in the comments, have you heard that sound at your window? Did you find the bird? What happened? I read everyone, and these are the stories I carry the longest. I'll see you in the next one.